Mattie, there is a perception that zero COVID is self-inflicted damage on economic activity in China. Do you think the leadership will rethink that policy?
At the moment, there does not seem to be any indication that China will move away from its zero COVID position, even with the Omicron variant, which of course points to further economic and supply chain disruptions and challenges. The truth is zero COVID has worked quite well for China in much of 2021, keeping the country humming both economically and socially. It has not been without cost. We've certainly seen sluggish consumption and travel, and there has been a drag on growth for China, but it was largely manageable and successful in 2021. The challenge now in 2022, as we're seeing China return to more restrictive actions in response to outbreaks since, essentially the start of the pandemic in Wuhan, is whether it will work with Omicron and the more contagious variants, whatever other variants 2022 has in store for us.
So, Mattie, would it be fair to say that right now we are looking for even more stimulus than had been the consensus expectation for the first half of this year? Simply because, at first it was about putting a cushion under the property market worth 1/3 of the Chinese economy, so very important. But now it's more not so much about Omicron, but the government's response to Omicron, which is zero COVID, and having to offset that and having to worry about growth.
Yeah, so I think it's a very fascinating moment for China economically. We kind of in Q3, Q4 last year had the perfect storm for a slowdown with the challenges posed by the pandemic, of course, and zero COVID, the struggling property sector, and then the power crunch that we saw not just in China, but across the world. And so, although the recently released annual GDP figure for 2021, 8.1%, is higher than it's expected, it masks some of the continuing weaknesses and challenges for China. So I think the zero COVID is one piece of it, but we've also seen a series of regulatory and policy actions trying to move China into a new development paradigm that is more focused on quality growth, social fairness, and national security. And one thing that I think is interesting here is that, Chinese leaders have indicated for many years that they want to move away from exports as the main source of growth and towards domestic consumption for sustainable GDP. But that's certainly not what's happened during the pandemic. So China's economic recovery has largely depended on a return to its old export-driven model, while consumption has really lagged. So in 2020, for example, net exports contributed the largest share of Chinese GDP growth since 1997, and consumption has not even recovered yet to its pre-COVID trend, according to China's National Bureau of Statistics. So I think the zero COVID is one piece of a kind of group of challenges for China's policymakers right now. The truth is the stimulus that has been provided to boost consumption and the private sector thus far has not succeeded sufficiently that we won't see further actions in that regard.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.